Okay, we are live. So welcome to our event today. So this is going to be a live demo on our AI agent. And we have Gareth, our CEO today, and Evan, our VP of product. And they're going to be walking you through onboarding an AI agent. So, just like in your business, you have to onboard your support team members. There's some great things to keep in mind while you're onboarding an AI agent. So we are going to start with talking about how some of our customers have started to use this. And then Evan will take over after that with our demo. So I'm going to hand it over to Gareth now.
Thanks, Sarah. Welcome, everybody. Great to have everyone here. As Sarah said, we're going to be talking about our AI agent, but more specifically, actually, we're going to be, or I say we, Evan's going to be showing how you can onboard quite easily and talking through how you can set up the AI agents to respond to your queries coming in. I think we discussed this before and maybe a previous webinar event on LinkedIn. We've built AI into the product since 2018, actually. But obviously that's accelerated over the last 2 or 3 years. And our AI platform within eDesk in the last 12 months has powered over 3.5 million customer conversations. So it's AI is assisted in answering those conversations. And the next evolution of that is our AI agent, where the agent will respond on your behalf. And obviously you can train the agent, and there's guardrails and there's different procedures. And again, Evan will kind of step through that today in more detail. But it's really, really, really powerful when you see it in action. We've already seen lots of our customers start to adopt it, but really, really strong results in terms of the amount of automation they can do across their channels. We've some customers automating 60, 70% of the tickets that come into their inbox. And not only that, that's kind of post-sales, but we also have customers who are using it in a pre-sales capability. So when questions are coming in prior to a purchase, you can have your AI agent answering those questions in terms of, what size your product may come in, or is it in stock, or what are your delivery times typically looking like. And we know from looking at our data that can directly help your conversion metrics in terms of your ability to have those purchases. So it's amazing actually to see some of our customers use it and adopt it and see some of those results. And as I said, it's built on top of that AI engine that we've had in the product since 2018. But yeah, in the last 12 months, we've seen that acceleration, and we expect that to double. Originally I was kind of thinking the next 12 months, but it's kind of looking like that will double in the next 3 to 6 months, which is really, really significant. And yeah, today really is just about to show you how the AI agent works, how you can onboard it, go into a little bit more detail on that, and show you how easy it is really to get up and running in minutes, and the power that you can use it within the eDesk inbox. And yeah, as I said, we've customers using it already, right across our customer base, from some of our largest customers to some of our smallest. But again, when you see how you can use the use cases and how you can actually build it within the product, you can see how you can kind of start off small, but then you can expand and across all your different channels and your different regions. So yeah, really, really excited to be here. Happy to give a live demo of what we're doing in the product and what's live, and happy to answer any questions as we go along. I don't know, anything else you want to add to that, Evan?
No, I think the numbers speak for themselves, right? So 3.5 million is an enormous number. I think we've been on quite a journey. I think you said 2018. I think I've worked on it every year since then. So we've learned a lot, and AI has evolved a lot. And I think it's an interesting time for us as a provider within the e-commerce sphere, but I think equally for sellers out there, the opportunities around AI in terms of customer support efficiencies, with AI as well. There's humans can't compete in terms of the time it can get through things. So your first response times are always going to see an immediate impact. And as you said as well, Gareth, you start small and you build, and it's really easy to get started quickly. And from there, you can learn and expand. And so it doesn't have to be a drag or a very difficult lift. It can be done really quickly, and then there is learning over time that you can do. So I'll share my screen and I'll walk you through with the demo. Please feel free to interject with any questions. I'll be more than happy to answer them. So let me just take over here. So if you're an eDesk customer already, you'll be very familiar with this interface. This is kind of the hub for our AI. So on the left-hand side, you'll see our AI icon, and that's where you can find all of the tools that you need around your AI. The AI layers on top of, I suppose, what we've been working on for a very long time. So eDesk is a multi-channel e-commerce help desk. We've built it specifically for e-commerce. And what makes that different for us is we connect with everywhere our customers sell. So if you're a multi-channel marketplace seller, selling in US or Europe, everywhere that you're selling there, we're pulling in not just the messages from your customers, but the orders, the data around those orders, the data around the customer so far as each marketplace allows. And so we bring that together to enrich the AI. So all of that information is available to it. I think that's a key point when you're starting off. It's really important to think about what information do I need to answer a question. So when I onboard customers and speak with customers about their AI implementation, you can think about it as how would a normal agent answer the question, where is that data? Does it live in eDesk? Do we pull it in from the marketplace? Do we need to supplement it with additional data? You know, the supplementation part is very much advanced. You don't need it for getting started with Wizmos or a lot of return cases, pre-sales, etc. Most of the time that data is there. But then as you get deeper and deeper and you start to think about maybe you use an external ERP system, or maybe you have an order management system outside of eDesk, you know, all of that data can also be brought in via our API. So that's a key thing to think about as you go on in time. But for today, we're going to concentrate on things you can do pretty simply to get started. So we're on the getting started page within eDesk, and this will walk you through basically all of the steps that I'm about to walk you through. So firstly, one of the things that you'll see that's maybe quite different is you're able to book a demo here in eDesk, either at the bottom or the top. And we have an AI implementation team that is there ready. They're experts in our AI, and they know exactly how to get you started. It's they very much have a proven process of how to understand your processes, how to get you started with baby steps, and then how to grow that AI resolution and outcome rate. So the first thing you want to do is, in nearly all cases, whether you're an existing customer or a new customer, we'll have created an AI agent for you. So this is a new, fresh account. And so I'll go in here into agents, and I can review my agent. I think what's really important when you come in here is, firstly, all your channels and your policies, instructions. We'll talk about what they are in a little bit. But the first thing is you want to choose what channels you want to map to this agent. So what channels do you want your AI agent working on? What channels do you want to deploy it on? That's the first thing you want to think about. You don't need to worry about this too much in terms of, do I need 5 agents or 10 agents? Just start off with one, start off with baby steps and grow it from there. It is absolutely fine to have one agent to deal with all of your channels. There are use cases where some of our customers have built out, 10 more agents, and that's about, do you have very different policies for different brands, for example? So if you're a multi-brand seller or agency, you might want to think about that. Or do I have very different, I suppose, workflows, procedures, policies for different places that I'm working? For a start, it's absolutely fine to go with, all your channels into one agent. just if you're worried about edge cases or whatever, start off with one channel, one agent, very simply. Then you can name your agent, and then in the settings, you have a couple of things that you don't need to worry about too much here. So you can delay the send just to make it take a little bit of time, but it takes about 5 to 10 minutes for the AI to work through all of that data. So all of the customer's history, all of the order history, etc. So even if you're kind of, you don't need to think too hard about the delay, there'll be an inbuilt delay just as it works through all of that information. So these are more advanced settings that you don't need to worry about too much. What I would suggest looking at is your tone and identity. So this is really important to, particularly if you're a B2C seller, but across the board, we want to make sure that our AI agent is responding in the way our customer support team is, right? So you want it to have, the right tone, the right length of response, etc. So the first thing you can do is give it a name in the signature. So this is how it will sign off. So you can give it whatever name you like. This is implemented via our snippets, right? So if you have a snippet in your signature and the AI agent replies, it will pull it from that. It will pull this, whatever you put in here. So whether it's a name or a team name or whatever, you can put it in there. Then you have your business name, so what you want the AI to refer to your business as, and how should so you can say, give it the name and how it should refer, and then you can give it some backstory on your business. This is not essential; it's very much optional. But if you just want to, it expands sometimes on what you do. And then in terms of the tone, you can choose between professional, friendly and warm, or straightforward. And then reply length. So do you want it to be concise, standard, or detailed? So again, that very much depends on you and your brand. It's very important to be aware of what your responsibilities are when you're communicating with your customers. So you may have heard of or be aware of the EU AI Act. So if you're selling within the EU, you should disclose that to the customer who's communicating with you that they're communicating with an AI agent. So we have for that the ability to disclose that, and that will appear at the end of each message. As you get on, and I won't dwell on this, but we have kind of advanced settings where you can actually tell the AI for this type of situation, speak in this way and say these things. So it can go as deep as you go with your policies, with your workflows and instructions. So that's the first step, right? Get your agent set up. It will work out of the box, but if it's important to you to have particularly tone and identity and a certain way of replying, the AI will take all of that into consideration. I think then when it comes to training, I'm going to concentrate on two things: procedures and training content. So procedures is the first thing, the main thing. It's the thrust of the improvements that we've made to the AI agent. We're really excited about what you can do here. So it's a real step change, I think, towards what AI agents were able to do 3, 6, 9 months ago, where each individual message was kind of treated as its own case. The difference with procedures in our AI agent 3.0, as we've called it, is that it's able to actually follow a recipe, right? So it can take step-by-step actions throughout an entire ticket flow. So it's not a one-off on each message. It's able to understand an entire flow. You can map it out within eDesk, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And then it will follow those steps. So much more close to what you would do as a human agent. What kind of data do you consider? Is this within 30 days or not? Is it this SKU, or is it one of those SKUs that's blacklisted that you can't return because it's a perishable good, something like that? So all of those things are possible now. And I think that's been a big learning. And I think, this is kind of a journey that particularly Gareth, we've been on for a long time. And what we saw is AI has so much power, but combining it with deterministic rules or conditions, and that those conditions really build upon eDesk because we pull that information from your sales channels. And I think that's been the key difference, right?
I think that's for us in particular, because eDesk obviously has always been built for e-commerce. So we don't handle generic customer support And there's a lot of other AI agents out there that are built for customer support, but they're generic. So they're more loose in terms of their rules and instructions, and that can work in certain use cases. But when e-commerce is very specific scenarios, and I think as we worked closely with because we launched this with beta customers back in October, November last year, and we worked through the use cases, and what we saw more and more was that, and we would have known this already, but within e-commerce is very, very specific use cases around returns or refunds or certain, but also can be specific per channel or per customer. It's quite unique. And that's why we built procedures, because it allows that specificity in terms of the workflows and what you need to do across each of your different channels. And that's where the real power is, and that allows you to be very granular in your controls of how you handle different use cases. And that's really, as we work closely with our first batch of customers, with our AI agents, that's what we learned, and that's what we built around. And that's where we were really seeing the power of our AI agent and the procedures really starting to take off, because you can get that granular control, you can be very specific, and that allows you to tweak certain rules in certain channels. For example, if you're a heavy eBay seller, you have to create a procedure that's specific to eBay and certain use cases around that. If you're more on the D2C side of things, you can create rules and procedures around Shopify. So that's where the power is, and that's where the flexibility is. And that's what we're really excited by. And you'll see, Evan will show now how you can set up a procedure in, as it says on the screen there, 30 seconds. It's very, very easy to get going. And the most typical one we would see is Wizmos, or where's my order? So that's we see that on average across our base, maybe 15 to 20% of the queries that come in are Wizmo, right? Where's my order type queries? And obviously there's different use cases within that, but that's a very easy use case to get set up for AI agent, and to take that repeat question that comes into your inbox from your customers, and have your AI agent start to respond to that. And out straight away, you can implement that, get rid of some of the repeat, easier type questions that come in. And again, that frees up your staff to focus on more complex issues, refunds, returns. Obviously, you can look to automate some of those use cases as well. But I guess what's interesting, what we're seeing, and again, Evan working closely with some of these customers, is that for the teams who implement it, they're able to take away some of that repeat, especially spike kind of volume that comes in from different periods or different weeks, and it allows their team to focus more on higher value customers, more complex queries, build out the knowledge that is needed to allow AI agent to perform better. So they're able to perform actually higher value tasks and add more to the business. And that's pretty cool to see in terms of the customers who are adopting it. So yeah, I mean, Evan probably show you now how easy it is to kind of set up a procedure that will handle order status, which will cover that kind of where's my order use case I was just talking about there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when we're in I'm in customer mailboxes and inboxes every day. I see the things coming through, and there's a lot of noise in there, and allowing your support agents to kind of avoid that and move on to more complex situations. Or equally, we can now use eDesk AI agent reliably as tier 1 support. If that's what you decide you want to do, it's capable of following workflows, tagging. We can even analyze photos and pass them on. So I'll jump into some basic use cases, and we can get stuck into a few more complicated things as well. But it's important to remember that we're here to help. So the AI implementation team is there. So if you've got a picture in your head or something that you want to automate, that's a great starting point. So as we walk through this, it's a really good thing to be thinking about. Every business is different. Obviously, as Gareth said, across our customer base, we see where's my order being 15 to 20% of what's taking up time. But at the same time, you might have your specific case against, if I could just do these invoices, or if I could just do that kind of question. We love that. Come to us with that, and we can help you automate it. So the first thing is, I've jumped into the procedure screen. The only thing to kind of note here is procedures are your workflows. They they will they're step-by-step processes that you map out that it can follow. The thing that can help it a lot with that is training content. So I'm just going to jump into training content for a moment. And you can add training content, and you can add tons of different types. And basically this gives knowledge. For example, if it's a pre-sales question and the agent needs some knowledge around that, if you're selling on Shopify, you can connect a product feed, or Magento, we have a product feed, eCommerce, we have a product feed. If you have your own content somewhere on a website, you can scrape it. If you have it in eDesk's knowledge base, you can get that through. So there's tons of different ways to do that. And that knowledge is really helpful for certain types of questions, troubleshooting, product questions, that kind of thing, even sometimes post-sales questions, if there's warranty information in there. If you're using a product feed, we can also pick up on stock. So it's really good to be able to build out that training content. It will get you more answers from the AI agent. So the first one, and the thing we've spoken about probably the most, is order status. So this is the procedure screen. In procedures, this is a list of all the procedures you have built, and we have one starter procedure here for you. We also have some pre-built procedures, and we can take a quick look through these after the first one. But these are just, again, more cases to get you started, to help you out. So if I click into this one, and I just consulted before I would turn it on, what we can see is that it is basically a flow, right? And again, you can think about it very much like these are the steps that I would take if I were trying to resolve one of these questions. So you have the item is shipped, or so we can go in here, say shipped, delivered, or completed. I would say let's go with shipped and keep that in there. And so we can say that it is shipped. So if it's shipped, and then we can put in a condition. So just to look at this, we've got the first one is an order status, right? So we're looking at what is the status right now. So we're saying, is it shipped? If it's shipped, we want to go down this route. We're going to make a different decision to whether it's pending or processing. So if it's pending or processing, it's still with us. It's likely in the warehouse. So we would want to treat that a different way. And then if it's being delivered, we would, again, want to kind of approach that in a different way as well. So we can kind of set out all of our potential routes and then tell the AI what to look for on each of them. So in this basic one that we've set out for you, first thing we look at is dispatch age. And we look at that in our conditions, and conditions are a really important aspect of procedures. So in this case, what we're saying is basically, if it has been shipped within 72 hours, we don't really feel there's a problem there. We think that's something that's probably on track. And so it's a good thing to give to the AI agent. There's nothing lost, nothing going wrong there. We just need to tell the customer, here's your tracking link. This is its status. This is how it's going. It'll be with you soon. So we can delegate that to the AI agent. If we're being cautious and we're saying, okay, above 72 hours, maybe there's something going on there. I'd like to give it to a human agent. So you can escalate it to a human agent. Now, we haven't done this here because it's a fresh account, but if it's your own account, you may have tags that you use for this, or you may want to change the status of this. So you can look at this entire flow and see that there's a starting point, right? And there's an end point. And at the end point, and you can trace the whole flow here with this line. But at the end point, this is where you're reaching your outcome, and you want to, take actions. Even if it's being given to a human agent, you can add actions here. So you can set the status. You could add a tag to say, delivery issue, and it gets routed to a certain person. So all of that is possible here. You can set your status, assign your users, add a note as well to the same ticket so that the person knows what's going on. So all of that is possible. So that's kind of the first case that we've dealt with here. It's like it's shipped and it's within 72 hours. It's going to the AI agent, and we've given the AI agent some simple instructions that you can edit yourself. So use the order data to provide the customer with their tracking number, carrier details, and set their expectations on when their order will arrive. That's the AI agent can do the rest. It's telling it exactly what it needs to do. It will pull the tracking from the order. If it's possible, if the information is available, it will actually read the tracking as well. So it will go through the tracking link, look on the screen that tracking link leads to and pull down that information. So it'll be able to see, is it in transit? Has it updated or not updated in quite a few days? So it can take on that information. Then the second thing we have is it processing or pending? So if it's processing or pending, as I said, that's probably with us. So we want to treat it slightly differently. So we want the AI agent to respond differently. And so again, if it's less than 72 hours, we're going to assume, okay, things are going okay. It's in the warehouse. It's been going through the picking and packing process. So we delegate that to the AI agent, and we give it some instructions here to just say, it's not shipped yet, but reassure the customer it's being prepared. It will be available soon, and they'll get their tracking information soon. If it's over 72 hours, again, we escalate it to the AI agent, and all of that is true, that you can add your tags, put it in whatever status or assign it to someone. All of that is possible. And then the final one is if it's delivered. So if it's delivered, you might want to deal with it differently. What we have here is what we call a gate. So I'll go into gates in more details. They're kind of an advanced feature, but they're extremely powerful. You can do an awful lot with them. So the first thing here is what we're actually trying to achieve is we're trying to say, if it's delivered, what we want to do is ask the customer, is it with their neighbors, or have they checked? Is it in the bin? Is it with their neighbors? We've all sent those messages before. And so that's what we want to achieve here. And we can do that with the AI agent via a gate. The difference between a gate and, say, these conditions that we've seen is that gates actually prompt responses. So conditions are just conditions. They allow us to kind of go, well, is it less than 72 hours or more than 72 hours? Is it delivered or is it shipped? But with a gate, it's information that we don't have that we need to go out and get. And that's what we use gates for, right? So that's a really key feature. As I said, again, if not all of this is making immediate sense, that's okay. The AI implementation team is here to help you. But what the important thing to know is that they can prompt a response from the AI that isn't the final step. So if you think about that in terms of a return, which we can look at, is if it's a return, what you'll likely need to know from the customer is, what is the reason for that return? And that's information that you need to get from them. So that's what a gate can do, and that's why we're able to replicate an end-to-end flow rather than just treating every message individually. So it's a really key feature. It prompts the AI to do something, to ask for that information. A couple of things to note here. One is, if the information is already there, it won't ask, it will know. The second thing is that if the customer comes back and replies and doesn't actually give the information properly, so I've seen lots of cases where they give one thing and not the other and kind of think they have, the AI will go back and ask again. It will only go back and ask a maximum of 2 times. Otherwise, it's at an endpoint. And so the thing here is we can actually, based on what the customer responds, we can go different directions. So we've set it out here. First thing in here is that we're collecting information, right? So it's, what do we want to collect from the customer? And we want a confirmation that the customer has checked with their neighbors. How should the AI ask? Is just giving the AI information about what way do you want to ask this question. So this could equally, for example, be about a serial number. What's the serial number of the item that you've received? And you may need to tell the AI agent, look underneath the laptop. It begins with A0, something like that. So it's that kind of, that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to get that information and tell the AI how to get it. Then step 2, right, we collect the information. Then it's, what do we want to do with that information? So one option is that we just check, is it provided, right? So we don't do any kind of validation on the serial number. We just say, have they given the serial number? Yes, cool, let's move on. Otherwise, what we can actually do is assess the responses. So here, what we've got is, there's 2 options. They have not checked with they've checked with their neighbor. So the customer confirms that they have checked with the neighbor. So you can edit this to be whatever you want. The AI can interpret it and use it to go down different paths. Or you can say they have not checked with the neighbor, so they've confirmed that they haven't checked. And so this allows us to say, okay, if they've checked with the neighbor and they've confirmed it's definitely lost, there's definitely a problem here, then escalate it. Basically, what I see and how this came about is, speaking with customers, what happens a lot of the time is something gets a delivery status. The buyer says, hey, it's delivered, but it hasn't arrived. And it usually does arrive within a couple of hours, or it's there somewhere. So that's the idea and thinking behind this. You can edit it a little bit to suit your version, but that's what we've seen with customers. That's what we're replicating. If they have checked with the neighbor, if they say they haven't checked, we kind of say, hey, look, go check, and you can edit this to be like check in bins, check wherever. But that's the idea. And then there's always an else. So else is just a fallback. You can delegate that to the AI agent. So that is that's our basic kind of Wizmo solution, and you can build this out to work exactly as you want it to work. So I'm going to just go into one or two pre-built things just to show you how you can use this and how complex or easy it can be, depending on basically how complex or easy your use case is. Anything you want me to call out in that, Gareth or Sarah, or any questions around that?
No, I think for me, Evan, that was great. Again, I think shows two things that, as Evan already said, these procedures are pre-built, right? So even if you go back to the list there, Evan, you can show how easy it is to enable that procedure, right? In terms of your Wizmo queries, right? It's kind of a one-click to enable that status, and that enables just for your order status queries, right? And again, I think that's the power in terms of what we built here, is that you can just take very specific workflows, use cases. And as Evan said at the start, you can set that for a channel. So you could, I don't know, take a channel like it could be Amazon or eBay, or take a specific channel, set your order status query for that channel only, and then turn it on. And then you see the AI agent actually starting to respond to queries straight away with those order statuses. And that's how easy it is really to enable. But then you're able to go deep in terms of workflows and complexity and configure. And again, that gives you the power to handle, again, what we've seen time and time again is that for our customer base and e-commerce customers generally, whilst they all have to deal with where's my order type status queries, it varies per customer, per channel, how they would handle them. So I think that's pretty cool to see in terms of how you can handle the more complex workflows, but how easy it is to enable as well, and how easy it is to enable on a specific channel or account. As Evan said, we have an AI specialist kind of team there who are available. You can book a demo with. They'll help you get these procedures set up. They'll walk you through. They'll actually handle these use cases for you. So they're available. You can book in with them at any time, really. And both if you're a new customer or an existing customer, they'll help you get set up. So, but yeah, I think it was great to see Evan, and great to see the kind of the power that you can handle in terms of these procedures.
Cool. At the risk of going into too much detail, I'm going to show a couple of more things. So firstly, really good point on channels. And so when you open up your procedure, this is the starting point of your procedure, right? And you're able to say what its name is, what its goal is, and then what agents you want to use. And I don't have any channels on this account at the moment, but you can actually restrict it to certain channels. So you can exclude all of the channels on that agent, or pick some or not others. So you're able to, carve it out that way so that it's nice and simple. And as Gareth said, turning it on is really simple. One thing to point out is that when you do turn it on, you have a complete log straight away of every response it has made. And when you go into that, you can see, you can see exactly why it made that answer and what prompted it to do that answer. So you have a complete thread of everything that's happened and why it's happened. So you can adjust, you can change, and you can understand very quickly what it's doing and why. The other thing that is that we've worked on is really exciting is we have these things called gaps, right? So gaps are gaps in knowledge. There's knowledge gaps, which are based on training content, right? So the training content that I showed earlier, if someone asks a product question and the AI agent doesn't have the answer, it highlights that in a knowledge gap. And there is a button in there to generate an article with one click that will fill in that knowledge and give it to that agent. We've also now created procedure gaps. So as your agents are replying, your human agents, the AI is observing that, and it's able to see, oh, that's something I don't know. That's something that if you told me how to do that, I would be able to do it. So it actually tracks what tickets it comes across, what the example scenarios are. And when you generate this. It will take a couple of minutes because obviously it's got to build it out, but it'll actually generate a whole procedure for you to look at in your procedure section. So that's a really helpful feature as well. After you've turned on your first one, it will start to work in the background and recognize those things and understand them. And you have your active and open ones, and then as you close them, you'll have your closed ones. So then just to go quickly through some pre-built ones. So I'm going to show the advanced order status one very quickly, just to show you if you want to really go into detail, you can go into detail. So you can look at, for example, we start off with, is it canceled, processed, is it shipped, processed, or canceled or not? You can even look at the delivery method, right? So you can say, is it standard or is it next day? You can look at things like the dispatch. So is it late or on time? And so you can really build this out to fit your own flows, whatever suits your business. To look at a returns flow. So we've got this one here already. So these are the pre-built ones. So you can see they just generate straight away once I look for them. So I think this is a little bit like what I was talking about. So we have gates here to say, okay, is there an order number? If there's no order number, that's the first thing you got to do. You got to go back and ask for that. Then what's the return reason? So here we can say, okay, well, it's a returns flow. So the obvious one, is it a change of mind? Is it damaged or faulty? Or have they received the wrong item? I think what's really cool here is if it's damaged or faulty, you can create another gate, and that is what we actually have under the hood here, which you might not see, that's not clear here, is that the AI is actually able to assess the images. So if someone sends you a photo of a damaged item, there are cases these days. So there's like plenty of cases where you want to get multiple of them, and then it can assess where, whether it's broken. So we'll look at the image, verify that actually it is broken, and if it's broken, it will accept the return. If it's not, or it's not sure, it will escalate to a human agent. And the other thing that's very that I just want to dig into is what we've been looking at here is all our steps, right? So a gate, or we've got conditions, as we've seen. So I just want to kind of show you a little bit about what's possible. So in terms of conditions, we're going to add a condition. And in all of the implementations I've done with customers, like we've used so many of these things like order wait. That might seem a little bit esoteric, but it's actually come up quite a few times because we've got customers who, if the order is over a certain weight, it has to go down one route for a certain courier. And if it's below that weight, well, then a different courier can take it. Or maybe it's that collection has to be organized so the AI agent can actually ask for the address, ask for that information. So I think that's the kind of detail and level that you can get to. So you can start simply, but you can go as far as you possibly want. So things like order age, the estimated delivery date, what carrier it's with. And then we even have custom fields. So you can create custom fields within eDesk, tell the AI how to use it, and it can assess the information against those custom fields. So it can really go deep. You can replicate your complex workflows as well as the simpler ones starting off. So yeah, that's everything from me. I'm not going to bombard you with more information, but yeah, just one other thing is the AI implementation team is there to help, and really happy to jump on calls and help people get set up. So please do book a meeting with us. We'll be more than happy to help. So I'll hand it back over to you, Sarah.
Yeah, thanks, Evan. Fantastic demo. It's cool to kind of see. I know people kind of talk about AI and it feels like, the output is like magic, but it's cool to see what's kind of the process underneath it. So thanks for sharing that. And thank you guys for your questions as well. We're going to read off some of those that have come in and answer them for you here. But I just wanted to quickly reiterate what Evan said there. So on the left, if you're an eDesk customer already, you can book in a call to kind of have one of our specialists set this up with you so that it's kind of personalized to your workflows. And then if you aren't using eDesk yet, you can book in a call on the right to get started. So now we'll go through some of the questions that have come in. I'll just answer a quick one first. Will there be a recording of this available? Yes, if you're registered and here, you will be able to watch it right here on LinkedIn. You can play it back. And then if you need another copy for someone on your team, please do reach out and we'll get that for you.
I can see a couple here in the chat that are interesting that I'd like to respond to, if that's okay, Sarah.
Of course.
So the first one comes from Mary. How does the AI agent handle pre-existing tickets for customers who are already using eDesk? For example, if we have existing open tickets with previous conversations and customer service responses, will the AI agent review and use that history when responding? Or does it only apply to new tickets created after the AI agent is activated? So there's a couple of things to this. If there are two open tickets, the AI agent can take the context of the previous one when relevant. So I saw a really good example recently where someone mentioned they were going on a fishing trip to France in a different ticket, and the AI agent responded in another ticket where it didn't mention that at all and said, enjoy your fishing trip. So it's able to use the context of the open tickets. It doesn't go back over your history to learn. That's something that happens from the time you switch it on, but that will very quickly happen. So the procedure gaps and knowledge gaps tend to fill out within about 24 to 48 hours. So you very quickly get that information. So hopefully that answers that question clearly. Another one, can we configure eDesk AI to provide responses based on tracking number without incurring additional costs from aftership or other services? For example, can we have it fetch data from carrier's page, such as detecting delivered and transit statuses, and respond accordingly? So a few things to this. If you're using aftership, it will be there consistently, and we do leverage that. So if you're already using that service, you can continue to use it, and we will use that information. If you're not using aftership, the important thing is that the tracking is coming into eDesk. So if the tracking is coming into eDesk, we can get that information. So that's really important. If you're not sending that to your web store or wherever it is, make sure that is there. We will then pull it. The other thing then is, okay, if you're not using aftership, will it still work? Yes. So we do have an integration in the back end that once the tracking link is there, we will try to read that tracking link, as in go in and, exactly as the question asked, see is it delivered in transit, etc. That happens at the time that the message is created and the AI is working on it. So what's important is that the tracking needs to be updated at that moment when it comes in. So we will be able to do that, and we do it depending on the shipper, the courier. So some of them will allow us to do that. There are some that won't. If you want to book in some time with the team, we have a list of which ones will work and which ones don't. There was a question about UPS. I'm pretty sure UPS is on the list, but again, we'll be able to confirm that with you at a later point. Sorry, I'm just reading another one here. So the question is, can you elaborate more on the use cases for the AI agent? We sell on so many marketplaces, and most of the issues questions we see require an actual human to do research, tracking, lookup, file claims, cancel order in marketplace, ERP, and more. Yeah, so I think there's a couple of things here. One is the main use case that we're concentrated on today is responding. So the action still happens outside of eDesk. That's something that we're working on in H2 for certain marketplaces to have integrations that will actually do the entire flow. The important thing that you can do here is that when it goes down a certain flow, like I showed in the returns flow, that everything can be responded to, triaged, the customer is happy, everything, because we're able to review the tracking link, we're able to look at all that data and information. you mentioned ERP, and like if there's information in that ERP, it's very easy to send that to eDesk via API. And again, the implementation team will be able to show this in detail. But how that works is you create a custom field in eDesk, and then if you set that that's an AI custom field or custom field to be seen by AI, you can tell the AI exactly how to use that information. And so it's able to process as it goes through. So it's able to do that kind of, let's say, more manual work than ever before, so that all of that information is there, it can find it. So we've had cases where customers have payment accepted from a certain marketplace that they don't trust that they use when they actually take the one in their ERP, and they've sent that to eDesk, and now that solves that problem, for example. So they're able to process cancellations now much more quickly with that one. And so, yeah, it's all about getting the right information in, and the actual cancellation, for example, will happen outside of eDesk, but you can add a note. So you can tell the customer, yeah, no problem, we accept that, we'll cancel that. But you can also at the end add a note for your agent to say, please cancel this, and it just takes all of that work away. So rather than having to do all of the triage, etc., all of the over and back, they just need to do the action at the end.
Yeah, and as Evan said there already, starting to build out those actions. That's the next stage in terms of the AI agents. So for like some of our main market-based channels, the likes of, keep me honest here, Evan, with the likes of Amazon and eBay and Shopify and others, where we can handle those, use cases. That would be the kind of next stage in terms of where we'll have the actions within the AI agent to allow you to kind of execute that. So, but as Evan said, it would lead to kind of, that initial backing across and verification and all that type of work can be done by the agent. And then so when you as an agent receives that ticket from the AI, right, it's just a case everything's been checked. Yeah, go ahead and action that piece. So it does put down quite a lot of the work there.
Yeah, and we today you're able to process refunds, cancellations on Walmart, eBay, Amazon cancellations, and by the end of the quarter, we're looking at having refunds as well, and TikTok Shop. So an awful lot of our marketplaces are covered or almost covered, and so that is our, that's what we want to get to next. It's allowing you to do that from eDesk, and then allowing you to do it from eDesk via an AI agent, provided it stays within the marketplaces T's and C's, which in most cases it's still fine.
Very good. I don't know if there's any other questions there.
I think one just to address is there a minimum ticket volume or team size where this tool makes sense?
No, I think at any volume it makes a lot of sense. We've got one seat customers who are using it, and particularly, they're entrepreneurs who don't have time to do support, and they just want to automate it all, and that's working out really well for some of those. We've got customers that are getting a couple of hundred tickets a week, and 100 of them are being dealt with by the AI agent, and they're really happy with that. The bigger players with many agents and thousands of tickets a day or a week, with that works equally well. It works at any scale. I think we do. So just another question coming in about about working with an ERP. I think this is a really interesting one. This is something to note that we're looking at the moment as well. So we know that it's really important to be able to take actions inside of eDesk, but also to take them outside of eDesk. So what we're looking at the moment is the ability to create an integration with your ERP. So you can configure that via authentication, via secret key or API key, and then declare those actions within eDesk and make those happen in your ERP. So that is something that we're working on. It's a question. Let me share it. The problem is cancellations must be done in the ERP in specific ways. And then ERP cancels the marketplace. So that is something that we're working on, to do cancellations in your own systems, whether it's an order management system or an ERP system. That's something coming in H2 as well. And we're really excited about that. So yeah, and there was a question about ETA on action. So yeah, as I said, we may not cover all marketplaces in H2, but we will be looking to at least get some of our bigger ones covered. So I have another one there. Is it recommended to, are we still okay for time, Sarah?
Yeah, I think there's a couple more just came in there. If you want to answer those ones.
So the first one is it recommended to start creating a training library base before trying to create an AI agent? It really depends on your own situation, right? So something I didn't mention there is we are pulling information. So if you're a D2C seller, you have a website. So we can scrape that, so we can get that straight away. That takes a few minutes. I would suggest doing that. You don't need it for where's my order questions, but it will allow you to move faster than for other things. If you are a marketplace seller, you don't really need that content a lot of the time. And if you were a marketplace seller on eBay, we will pull the information from eBay directly, and we get really well structured information, so we can cover pre-sales excellently with the AI agent. It's a really good starting point. So if you're looking to automate on your marketplaces, start off post-sales invoices done. Once you're using eDesk's invoice templates, you can create a post-sales procedure, and within minutes you can automate any invoice requests. And then if you're eBay or Amazon and you're getting pre-sales questions, we specifically know that ticket type within eDesk for those channels, and they're kind of specific to those two channels, and they're mostly in eBay, but Amazon do have them. We will pull that information from there in a structured way that allows us to answer those questions really, really well. So training content is really good as you grow and wanted to do questions around troubleshooting, around information on products. It's not essential for starting. Then someone has asked about a recommendation for if the client might have a sudden spike in tickets emails. So I guess if that's already happened, it's about creating procedures and learning from that. So a lot of the time when we're working with clients, it's what's causing those spikes, so that we can create procedures around them. I think for anyone going into the busy period, Q4 is coming up. Now is the time to be thinking about that. So schedule something with the team. They will work through your workflows. They've seen so many cases at this stage that they'll be able to make recommendations to you. But yeah, it's about what has happened in the past. What can we learn from? How can we build a procedure around it? So the guys are well able to do that.
I think that's after that, having a little bit, I think that's a big thing, especially before Q4, that you can get that time. And the team is there to work with you, because, as I said, I think what we've seen is the uniqueness a little bit across our customers. So the team will work with you and build those specific use cases. And obviously, your business, and you typically will know what might cause those peaks or spikes. So you can get those procedures in place before. And yeah, I think that's over the kind of coming weeks to get that up and running, so you're ready when you get into that kind of busy Q4 period. You have that stuff there, so you can handle out those peak tickets. Again, which we see time and time again with our customers every peak period, right? And there's, as much as you try and model and predict that, you never quite know in terms of what you're going to be dealing with. So trying to get ahead of as much before it is pretty important.
Yeah, 100%. And I think now's the time to start, right? Q4 comes very quickly. So someone asked, how much does the service cost or range from? So I'm not sure if that's if that's eDesk in general. You can visit edesk.com/pricing. In terms of the AI agent, it's charged on an outcome model. So if the AI agent executes a procedure as you want it to execute it, so it doesn't fail or anything like that, or it has the information and it reaches an endpoint and does an action, then it's billed at 99%. And that happens only once per ticket. So the AI agent could reply 5 times on the ticket, it's still only billed once. And so it's 99 cents.
And important to know that's kind of our pay-as-you-go model. So that's just flexibility, and that can go up and down. But we also have the ability to buy packs, essentially buy bulk outcomes, and there's discounted rates there in terms of bulk up. So again, what we're seeing with a lot of our customers is they might start down the path as pay-as-you-go when they're getting started, and once they kind of get comfortable in terms of their volume and stuff, they look to kind of go to packs because they can kind of bulk buy, and there's discounts available in terms of bulk buying in that regard.
Perfect. Yeah, Dan just qualified it for eDesk AI. So yeah, 99 cents per outcome.
Perfect. Amazing. Well, thanks everyone for your questions. And like we said, if you have any more questions or would like to get set up with the team, please just book in with us here or on our website. Thanks so much, Evan and Gareth, for the demo today. And let us also know, guys, what else you'd like to see, and we'll do more of these sessions as well. So have a great day, and thanks for tuning in.
Thanks so much, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Cheers.
Right.